Tesla, guys. It is not looking pretty right now. It's currently about 11:30 a.m. on the East Coast, and we have Tesla stock down 3.3%, officially falling under 160 bucks a share. So we have to break down Tesla stock in this video, targets I'm looking at, levels I'm watching, and later in the video, we'll break down the overall markets, which, well, the indexes here in the U.S. aren't looking too pretty either. We have the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell. Which one am I forgetting? The Russell. Yeah, they're all in the red as the VIX is up 3.7%. So we have a lot to break down in this video. If y'all find value, all I ask is to hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want some free stocks, don't forget to get up to 15 stocks for Moomoo. Link down below. We'll talk more about that later. And now, cheers, guys. Let's dive right into the video. So if you guys remember, last week, Tesla ended up reporting earnings, and their EPS, if I remember correctly, came in right in line with the estimates. I think they did 85 cents adjusted EPS. Yeah, you guys can see it right down here, 85 cents. And revenue slightly beat, and net income on the flip side did not look so good. It did not look good at all. I think net income decreased by 20%, maybe a little bit more than that year over year, which means their bottom line is taking a hit, which makes sense. They're cutting prices all across the board in different markets, the US, China, and other markets as well, which of course they're trying to get more market share, but that is hurting their bottom line, which I think is a good trade-off for the long term for the company. They're trying to get more market share, but right now in the short term, it is not really, it's not helping them, right? And the stock price is not liking it at all. Again, the stock's now down 3.5%, and it's officially under 160 bucks per share. So what you guys are noticing, if we zoom in a little bit here on the 4-hour chart, and hold on a second, on the 5-day chart, you'll see we clearly took the lows out from last week, which last week we held right around 161, 160 for Thursday and Friday, those 2 days where we ended up selling off a decent amount, especially on Thursday, and we held it pretty steady on Friday. But now we ended up officially hitting 158.61 earlier in the day. We ended up seeing a bit of a relief rally here, you guys can see, and now we're starting to go right back down to test that low from earlier today, 158.61, which I believe will take out, or rather will break. You guys know what I mean, right? You know, it looks like it's on its way to take out that low from earlier today. And on the 4-hour chart, if I pop it up, you guys can see we took out 165 last week, which was not good at all. Pretty much the descending triangle. I'm not sure if we called it out, but now that we're looking at it right now, we can see the descending triangle. That's pretty much playing out now that we're falling under 165, especially under 160 bucks. You guys see that right here. So at this point, the million-dollar question is, guys, where could Tesla be going in the short term? Very good question. Now that we broke 165, now that we broke 175, two big levels of support that we were looking at before the earnings, now that we're falling through those points, where could this be going? Well, number one, we have $145, which at this point is not too far-fetched. You guys can see back in, when was that? The end of January, we actually got rejected at about 145 bucks. That is the next main level of support at this point coming up. That's the next gap to fill on the downside. You can see if we do fill that gap down, we would have another 14 to 15 bucks to go on the downside, or in other words, percentage-wise, that would be another drop of 6 to 8%, roughly. You know, it depends on where it ends up going. But overall, 145 is my next target here on the downside for Tesla, and if somehow, some way that broke, which is possible, it's possible for it to break, it could go maybe to 135, 136, which you guys can see, that was the high from when? When was that? The middle of January, so that's where it could be going after it breaks 145. If it breaks 145 bucks, and if it breaks 135 bucks, well, guys, it is not going to be looking good at that point. We could be going right towards the lows from the beginning of this year, which, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I mean, we're still at 159 right now, but we're just drawing out levels, guys. We're just getting prepared for what could be happening, right? So again, 145 followed by 136-ish, followed by maybe around 123, and if that were to break, guys, right down maybe to 100, 103, that's where it could be going. You guys can see if I zoom in a bit, back in, when was this? The end of December, early January, that's where we pretty much bottomed out at, right around 105, 103, 101, and we saw a huge run from that point right back to 200, and now we're starting to collapse yet again. So if this starts getting down, guys, to the lower hundreds, I might be tempted to pick up some Tesla, maybe as a short-term trade, maybe as a more, maybe like a midterm trade for a couple of months, right? That's something that I'm considering, and of course, we'll talk more about that here on the channel, so make sure to subscribe. But overall, guys, this is starting to slip. We're under the moving averages. We have a death cross on the 4-hour time frame. We're taking out 165, 160. Not the best sign. This could be going a lot lower, in my opinion. Not trying to be a doomsdayer, not trying to freak anybody out. I still think Tesla will do very well long-term as a company, but in the short term, their stock is it's not looking good. And I'm going to be honest here, guys. I'm not going to BS. I'm not going to sugarcoat. That's what you get here on the channel. So if you like that, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. You might as well hit the like button as well. I appreciate you guys as always. So with that being said, guys, let's take a look at what's going on with some other stocks. Of course, Bed Bath & Beyond is down 31%, which we're not going to get into in this video. Go check out my previous video where we covered more about Bed Bath & Beyond stock, Chapter 11, what could happen to the stock, what I'm doing, my thoughts, all that good stuff. Go check out the previous video on Bed Bath & Beyond stock. But overall, guys, the overall markets right now are not looking good. It's about 11:30 a.m. right now on the East Coast, and we have the Russell down 0.4%. Let me pull that up and show you guys. 0.4% red day. The Nasdaq's down 0.6, 0.7 almost. As big tech this week is they're reporting, a lot of the big tech names are reporting, from Amazon to Google to, I believe, Meta and Microsoft. Those are the 4 ones, and I think Apple is early in May, I think in about a week or 2 from now. But either way, the Nasdaq is not looking good right now, as it is preparing to see a lot of its companies report earnings, which of course the big tech names make up a massive portion of the Nasdaq. If we pull up Triple Q, which you guys know tracks the Nasdaq 100, it's an ETF that does, it is right by a big level of support right now. We're at what, 315, 314, down 0.6 on the day. We're approaching the 180 SMA, which is right around 312, 313 here on the 4-hour chart, which, let me be quite frank with you guys, let me be honest, the bulls need to hold this level. Not only is it right by the 180 SMA, but you'll notice back here, when was this? Back in the beginning of February, heading into the middle of February, we peaked out at about 311, 312, and then we broke out of it. That was back in the end of March, heading into the beginning of this month of April. So that makes it a support now. The fact that we broke out of it, now we're coming back down to test it. So if the bulls fail to hold 312, 313, 14, it's going to be a bloodbath for Triple Q. And of course, it all comes down to what the numbers actually look like for these big tech names. A lot of them report tomorrow on Tuesday. Some other ones are on, actually one's on Wednesday. I think Facebook's on Wednesday. Thursday we have Amazon. Tomorrow and Tuesday we have Microsoft and Google. So depending on the numbers, the guidance, the price action on those stocks, that of course is going to influence Triple Q, and we'll see what direction it ends up picking. And on SPY, let me show you guys this. But hold on a second. Before we actually do that, if you have not gone up to 15 stocks yet for Moomoo, what are you waiting for? Use that Moomoo link down below. Open up an account. You get 1 free share of stock right off the bat. And listen to this. If you deposit at least $100, you get 4 more stocks, totaling 5 stocks. And if you deposit at least $1,000, guys, you get another 10 stocks, totaling 15 free stocks. And if you don't like the Moomoo platform, which I think you will, but if you don't, you can take out all your money, your deposits, and you keep all the free stocks, no strings attached. And of course, it also helps out the channel. I appreciate you guys as always. So use that Moomoo link down below. Let me know what stocks you get. And with that being said, let's take a look here at SPY, which, just like the other indexes, it's not doing good either. Maybe not as bad as the Nasdaq and the Russell, but it is down about 0.2%, and it is holding a big level of support now, right around 410, 411, which you guys can see if I zoom in a little bit. That level was the high from back in the beginning of April, heading into the middle of April. So if we do fall through 410, which I do have an alert set there, mark is at or below 410, SPY could end up filling the gap down maybe to about 403, 405, right by that 180 moving average. And of course, it all comes down to earnings. Like I said with Triple Q, the same thing here applies on SPY, and it's holding on by a thread. I mean, we're now slightly under the 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart. If we fall through 410, which has held the past couple of days, past couple of weeks, now that I'm looking at it, we're probably going to go down another $4, $5, $6, maybe $7 per share on SPY, which could equate to another 1.5% drop from where it is right now. So yeah, guys, that's a quick little rundown on what's going on the overall markets here, some Tesla analysis, and full disclosure, I'm still actually holding UVXY, which is moving up a little bit right now. It's up 0.8%, not much, but I'm still holding on for that pop in volatility, which I think we will get. The VIX is starting to creep up now. It's up 4%, right at 17, but I do think the VIX does have more upside to about 20 to 23 in the short term. I could be wrong. We'll see, but I'm holding UVXY still, full disclosure, as I am waiting for that trade to play out. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and check out my Patreon. If you guys want to be a part of my Patreon portfolio, the Discord chat, you want to see my charts and ideas throughout the day, and you want more access to me throughout the day, all of that's on Patreon, link down below. Don't forget to also get 12 stocks from Webull. And with that being said, cheers, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.